Hey guys, truck and biker. So today is oil change day at my house. I've already done my truck, my wife's truck. Now I'm working on her bike. So I'm gonna do full oil change on the Harley tomorrow. Just out of time today. But I figured this one's a kind of an interesting little bike. It doesn't have your traditional screw-on oil filter. It's got, if I can get this thing off the stand, it's got a cartridge style, fuck me. Cartridge style. So I gotta pull this plate off to get to the oil filter that's inside the actual crank casing. Yeah, sorry about that. I'll get editing software eventually. We'll get there. I still only have like 14 subscribers, so like, share, subscribe, do all that good shit. So we'll do this oil filter change. I'll try to get the camera down to where we can see everything. Pretty straightforward oil change. Literally pop the plug, drain it out, pull the plate off the side, pull the oil cartridge out, change the O-rings, put the new one back in. Good to go. This bike is a little weird though because the engine is so small. It's a 125cc. It only holds like 1.2 quarts. Why do motorcycle makers do that shit? It's like my Harley. It holds 3, almost 4 quarts of oil. Why? Just build it so it holds 4 quarts. Make the shit easy. Difference is, the Harley has a dipstick, this has a sight glass. And for anybody that's new into motorcycling, I will move the camera down to show how that's going to work. So let's get shit set up and get to work. Okay, so now we're down at ground level. This is about as low as I can get the camera. So you have to get the engine hot first. And Kawasaki so conveniently put the exhaust pipe running right down the side where the oil filter's on, and the drain plug is on the other side. So I'm going to leave the camera at this angle, and you'll see the fun black stream come out the bottom. And we'll start getting this underway. This is a learning experience for both of us because I've actually never done a cartridge style oil filter. Let's hope I do this right. Or you can watch me fail amazingly. Oh. Wow. So it's going to be a 17 millimeter. Jeebus. Love to see the size of the guy who put this on here. That sumbitch was on tight. Oh yeah. When your oil comes out looking like gray sludge on an air-cooled motor, I think it's beyond time to be changed. Oh. So, now that this nasty shit's coming out, let's see what we got going on this side. We have an 8 millimeter. Now, I did look this up, and it's got an inch-pound torque spec. Putting it back on. I do not own an inch-pound torque wrench. So, we're just going to guesstimate. I think it's time for new wrenches. So, let's see what this looks like. How much oil is going to come pouring out the side of the block. Let's go ahead and move that. What absolutely surprised the shit out of me is the fact that this thing, as small as it is, still utilizes a 17mm oil plug. Okay. Oh, like I said, that's fun. Cool. There's nothing like getting oil all over your exhaust pipe. Shop rags. Wow. That's awesome. This is going to smell amazing the first time I ride it again. The wife's going to be like,
"What's that smell? Why does it smell like burning oil? What did you do wrong?"
just tell her, pretend it's a Harley. It's what they smell like. Isn't that just the cutest little oil filter you've ever seen? Interesting. So, we have the new oil filter. Why it's spring-loaded, I don't understand. And we have to replace the O-ring gasket around the outside of this. So, do a trusty hook. If you haven't invested in hook tools, a very small, very small Phillips head screw or flathead screwdriver will work also. Just hook the ring, pull it out. Yeah, I think it was about time for this thing to be changed anyway. It's a little frayed, it's a little flat. I'm surprised it wasn't leaking, to be honest. Moving on. This one, it's got an inlet and an outlet. Pay attention to the orientation. There are two small holes on the inside of the motor. You want to make sure you get that lined back up properly. So, going in. We'll clean all the oil off of this when we get done. when you're putting stuff like this back on, you don't want to run one side tight and then try to tighten the other, because you could cause the O-ring to slip out of place, or just it may not seal properly, and you might also run into where you end up accidentally cross-threading one of the bolts as you're trying to tighten it down. Clean up our little mess here as best as possible. And you're pretty much always going to drop a toll into the damn oil. That's why I like drain pans that have a shallow catch. That way if you drop the oil plug, you're not fishing wrist deep in oil to find it. Now, I do absolutely hate this style of oil plug because it takes a big ass, oh, well, I guess it helps when nobody tightened it up before. Don't lose your O-ring. Put this back in. We'll get her filled back up. Now, there is a torque spec to putting oil plugs back in, but I've never really followed it, ever, and I've never had one leak. Get it in finger tight as you can. Then put the wrench on it, pull it till it goes tight. As soon as you feel it go tight, just a small turn more, you should be good. And when I say small, you just want to snug it in. If you over tighten it, you can strip the oil pan, which in this case is actually the bottom of the block. This is the last thing you want to do. Funnel. Funnel. This will be fun. Now, like I said before, there is a sight glass. We'll pull you down here and show it to you. So the sight glass is right here. There is a line at the bottom that is the low and the high. And to check it, you either have to put it on stands or have a buddy you trust holding your bike up. Because I have had friends help me check my oil and drop my bike. Good friends are hard to come by. So, like I said, this holds 1.2 quarts, but the amazing thing is it has a sight glass. So we're gonna fill it till it's just above this low line, crank the motor, let it run so that the oil filter area gets filled with oil, and then let it cool down a little bit, see where it sits. If we need to add, we'll add. If we don't, we don't. Hopefully we don't put too much and we have to crack the oil plug back out and let it drain. If you overfill your oil, it could cause too much oil pressure and cause you to blow a seal, a valve, not a valve. You can blow a gasket somewhere if you have too much oil pressure. And it's the last thing you want to do. You don't need your head leaking oil everywhere. Or into your combustion chamber, and now you're riding a 2-stroke with a 4-stroke mechanism. Now, because I've already looked it up and it says it holds 1.2 quarts, I'm comfortable with dumping the first quart in and not worrying about it. Like I said, first quart, we're already just below the high side. So let's crank the motor, see what it does. It may just take 1 quart. You don't know how much old oil's left in the motor. You're always going to have some left. You're never going to get all of the old oil out. Unless you pull the block apart, pressure wash it out, and put it back together. What's the fucking point in doing that? Oh. I am still absolutely amazed that I bought a 2004 125cc bike, and it cranks over the first time every damn time. $4,000. You really cannot get a better bike to learn on. And I know it's only a 125, but it's not a Grom or one of the little K, or what is it, the Z125s. Which are a very small frame motorcycle. They don't teach you turning properly. They don't teach you, if your bike starts to spill, what do? You put a foot down on those. Because my kids' BMX bikes are bigger than those bikes. And hell, damn near weigh the same. This is actually an almost 300-pound motorcycle that is almost as long as my Harley. So for me, I think this is a great learner bike. That's like Ninja 250s. People like to rag on them. Fucking ride one. They're fun. They are fun. They're, for anybody who's been riding for a while, they're gutless. But there's nothing wrong with that. You need something gutless to learn on. May have knocked the baffles out. Maybe. Don't hold me to it. See where we're sitting. We're sitting at the low fuel line. Shut her off and see where we go. Okay. To letting it run for a little bit, I have gone from the high fuel mark, not fuel, but oil mark, to the low oil mark. So we're going to add just a little more to it. Keep an eye on the sight glass. And I'm going to stop giving the thumbs up. I feel like a fucking idiot giving this 2 thumbs up shit. I don't even know why I started doing that. I really don't. I'm gonna call horse shit on the 1.2. So, apologize. My memory card got full. This will be a 2-part video. Okay. Like I was saying, I call horse shit on the 1.2 because it was 1 and a fucking splash. So at least I have a little bit of oil left just in case. And I probably could have just left the video where it was, but it is what it is. I'm gonna plug this into my computer and see if I can splice the 2 videos together. I'm still learning this shit. So, oil filter, oil change done. good to go. Alright guys, I'll put this plug back in, make sure we get everything lined up right. And actually get this thing down tight this time. So, all that's done. Back to beer. Alright guys, ride safe, like, subscribe, all that good noise. See you guys in the next one.